Hi, good morning. I'm Debby Montgomery Johnson, founder of the nonprofit The Woman Behind the Smile, and your host of Stand Up and Speak Up, a show that is about each and every one of us. Many of us have something we're hiding, something we're ashamed of, something that through no fault of our own or through our own making, we keep hidden, and that in turn keeps us hidden from each other and the world. Good people go through terrible situations. Wise people know when and how to let it go. Everything that happens to us helps us grow, and while it may be hard to see it right away, the most important thing to do is to change our perceptions about the circumstances. Stand Up and Speak Up features ordinary people who've been through extraordinary struggles and found the courage to step out from behind their smiles and speak up about their experiences and the lessons gleaned from those experiences. Today we have a special guest who is a friend of mine through Women's Prosperity Network, and she's got the numbers that we all need to know about. And my guest today is Susan DeRobertis, and Susan is hailing from up in New York. Is that correct, Miss Susan? Welcome.
Oh, yes. I'm a born and bred New Yorker. Yes. Thank you, Debbie.
It's such a pleasure to have you here. I've seen you at WPN meetings and whatever. We've not had a lot of time to sit down and chat. But I just felt like right now with the situation we're in with the virus and emergency preps and everything that we really need to understand our financials. And so I welcome you and I thank you. I'd like everybody to know who you are. I have a little bit about you, but then we'll go into it a little more in depth. Your background includes Susan is the CEO and owner of SDR Consulting. She's is an accountant and business coach in Westchester, New York, and I love this, has held the title of controller and CFO in your former corporate life before starting your own business. Susan knows how to bring it in with more than 28 years of financial experience. She's worked with startups to establish businesses, which include exit strategies, and maybe we'll talk about that because one day I would like to exit what I'm doing. So make the money, keep the money, save the money, and let it flow is your mantra. She's 100% committed to having our success in our financial life because we have to envision it, we have to see it, we have to set a goal for ourselves so we can be financially free and have some security going forward. So thank you, Susan, for your experience and for bringing what you know to our Stand Up and Speak Up group today.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. You know, everybody has a journey, and which led us up to this very moment, this day today. And it's you take all of your experience and all of your wisdom at this stage of the game. You know, this is not my first rodeo, and I give it back to women in particular because I find that in my experience, I've seen that women kind of shy away from really looking at numbers, or when you mention the F word, the finances, they tend to, oh yeah, that, you know, and tend not to want to look at it like it's something big and scary.
That's interesting.
Actually, yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Ahead.
No, and I was thinking about the numbers this morning. If somebody asks you what your numbers are, typically you think your height, your weight, you know, maybe your cholesterol levels. I don't know. My mind didn't necessarily go towards finances. So can we just reel back a little bit? How did you get into the business? How did you even get into being an accountant or a business coach all those years ago?
Oh, yeah. So, right. Originally, I was thinking of being a teacher. I was thinking of being an interior designer. Actually, I went to Parsons School of Design, and I was all headed to do that. However, I also spent some time at Baruch College, and so I realized, you know, which specializes in accounting, and I realized my skill set was much heavier on the analytical and logical side, and it came easy to me, you know, and I am able to solve problems quickly, not just numbers on paper or now on a spreadsheet and computer programs, but it's actually problem solving people's challenges in their lives, in their, you know, what are they dealing with, and what's always in their way, or weighing them down. So I switched directives, and I pursued my accounting degree, and got married and was happily married for the time being. After 16 years, that ended, and that was the impetus that changed my life. I went through a divorce, and on top of that, it was I went through menopause at the same time. So it was a really fun time. I was stressed out, and I did not come out of the divorce well financially situated. And then 2008 hit with the big recession, and I lost half of my clients, and I was really stuck. I was $75,000 in debt, credit cards, and I always managed to pay my bills. That was really miracles. I'm very good at manifesting money. And so I really had to do things differently, not the way I was doing them. If you think you're going to solve your problems, solve an issue by doing the same thing over and over again, that's called insanity. You have to take different actions. You have to think differently. You have to really look at, what you've been doing and the results that it has produced. So
can I ask you a quick question? When you were married, who did the finances?
I did all of the, it was like role reversal. I did. So I bought all the, the house, the cars, the insurance policies, the whatever, all of that business-related stuff I did. My husband at the time, he did the cooking, and he loved to do gardening and all that. And he was an architect, so it's very funny. I was in the world of interior design and architecture and then switched to finance and accounting. And I ended up marrying an architect. And it's very interesting today. Half of my clients are interior designers and architects because I understand their business. And I was also a CFO in corporate life in an architectural firm in New York City. So I know that business intimately. But I really looked at what I was doing, and I realized that I was pretending I knew what I was doing, but I really didn't. I kept my numbers in my head. Bad place to keep anything is in your head. The mind is very deceptive and will always tell you whatever, it wants to tell you. Your ego mind will be very deceiving. You really have to know with certainty what's there. What do you have, and what do you want, and what is the gap, and what are the action steps that you're willing to take to get there. So when I really knew my numbers, and, embarrassing as it is to say as an accountant, that I did not know with certainty what was really going on in my financial world. And when I did, I was horrified, and I made instant changes. One of them was usually it's increase income and cut expenses. And yes, that is definitely the way to go if you're able to do that. In my case, I sold the house. As much as I loved my home, I realized on one income, this is crazy to keep it. And so I sold it and got out from under and started an entirely different lifestyle. I also hired a business coach myself. Even though I am a coach, at that time I transitioned myself into a business coach. So I began to work with a business coach because outside eyes on you is really where the growth happens. When you're with you, it's not the same when you just are able to do whatever feels good in the moment. When you are accountable to someone on a weekly basis, and this person really is a stand for you. So having a business coach for support, for direction, for really having a plan for you, having a plan for 60 days, 6 months, 1 year, where do you want to take your business and your life? So important. I can't speak enough about that.
Well, it's interesting to hear that because, I've been in business a long time. I've been doing a lot of different things, but I think the one pause I take when someone says, do you know your numbers? I'm thinking, of course I know my numbers. And I'm like you, they're in my head. I'm paying my bills. I'm doing that. I'm putting money away. But I think, for me anyway, there might be a fear of what my numbers really are. And I want to thank you for being the guest today because my daughter's great about a budget, and we've talked about budgeting for years and years and years, and I told the kids, money doesn't grow on trees. You've got to do such, these things. But until this past week, I really didn't have a budget written down. And my husband and I, we're in our 60s, and we're talking about the future. And one day we said, how much do we really spend? How much do we really make? And we're thinking, it's not that much. And I wrote it down the other day. I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, it's so much more than what you think. And even though we're making good salaries, you spend what you make if you're not really paying attention. So how much of this is the fear of knowing the numbers? Because then we have to make a change.
Yeah. Well, it's very simple. It can be as daunting and terrifying as you want to make it, but you really have to be sick and tired and really just decide that this ends here. I want something else. I want freedom. I want to have ease, and I want money to flow. I want to be feeling good about what I have and not be stressed out. And most of the stress is attached to your not knowing your numbers. So I developed a very simple one sheet of income and expenses, and I look at it every day, and I smile at my numbers because I created it. I know where I am at any given moment, and it is all good because I set it up that way. I set it up so that I win. And it's something that I don't worry about anymore. I have a plan. And I will also mention that I got myself my own financial planner because I had one when I was married, and of course I wasn't going to use the same person. So I got my own financial planner who is key to my financial prosperity and my whole financial picture in creating wealth for me well into retirement, because women outlive their income. We simply do not save enough. And when you wake up in your late 50s or 60s, and I woke up in my 50s, and I realized that whatever I had is gone. So I was starting from zero, plus being in debt. So I really had to get a partner that would create a financial plan for me that worked for me. And I can't stress enough how important that component is. And they want your success, and you have to pick the right person that is, suited for you. So that's really part of, the financial equation. The first part is for you to decide, yes or no. Are you just going to go on and continue doing things the way you're doing, and then you will have the results that you have? Or if you don't like the results that you have, then work with someone like myself, me, or someone else who can partner with you and show you how to create a, now I hate to call it a budget, I call it a spending plan, because that makes it sound lighter and more fun. And I don't mean to make it sound frivolous. It's just that this is indeed how you are spending your money, you know. So I call it your spending plan. And so you know what you're spending your money on every month. You know where it's going. Some you're saving, short-term, long-term, and some you're spending. And then you have money left over, some fun money. So all of this empowers you to feel you're on top of the hill here. You know what's coming. You know every month to month what your cash income and expenses look like, and you don't have you just set it up. And you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Susan, you made a comment about being on top of the world. A lot of the women that I work with, that I hear from, have lost a lot of money. They've been victim to some sort of fraud, and they have not much left, if anything left. And so they're devastated emotionally, physically, financially. And so when they hear being on top of the world financially, they're like, oh, that is never going to happen to me. So have you ever, you've talked about being in debt and whatever from the divorce, but have you ever had experience in losing money or having somebody, you know, take it from you as a victim of fraud, for instance? Because I think we're all vulnerable to that. And if so, how did you recover from that? You know, was there somebody there to help you, or what did you do to get out of that mess so that we can, you know, look at the top?
Yeah, I've had credit cards taken. Just this week, I had a phone call out of the blue from some call center asking for my credit card number so that they could give me a better interest rate. And this was Chase Bank. They were saying they were my bank. And I knew that this is bogus. I said, really? You know, don't you have my account number there? And I'll call the bank and I'll verify it that way. And immediately the person hung up. So these are very scary times that we're living in, no doubt, and especially with, you know, the pandemic that we're all going through. But I didn't have money taken or stolen from me. There was just in the divorce that agreement where, you know, we split everything. And there was not enough for me to live and support myself because I lost half of my clients because of these were bad. It was bad times economically, and I also had a lot of debt. So I had you know, 3 strikes against me, and I had to figure out a way to get out from under. I can't imagine what, you know, it must be, it's devastating to have someone trick you, you know, where your trust in people has been really truly shaken, and where you feel duped and taken advantage of. And how could you be taken advantage of when you're a smart, intelligent person? So I understand the shame around that, and the just the disappointment in that you may feel you let yourself down. You should have known. But when things like this happen to us in life, there is always a reason why it does. That there is something there. As a lesson, I have found that everything that happens to us happens for a reason, and you have to look for that nugget. You know, you have to look at the people that you'll now surround yourself with.
And that's a great point, because I know I went through all that. I had to forgive myself for what happened. Mm-hmm. I keep going back to, if anybody shouldn't have been scammed, it was me. But the reason it happened for a reason, and I know it's because I'm doing what I'm doing now, in stepping up and standing up and smiling through it all and being there for others too. But it is tough. It's tough because you start blaming yourself. I work with women. Actually, when I left one of the shows up in New York, I think it was the Dr. Oz show, I was contacted by a woman who's a financial planner, a financial analyst up in the city, and she had been taken for almost $600,000, and the only person she could talk to about it was me, because I understood from the heart level. But she said, Deb, I could lose my job. And so, again, intelligent, well-trained people are being duped every day because the scammers are excellent salespeople. They're really good at their jobs. They're very manipulative, and they know how to get to our purse strings through our heartstrings. And it's tough. So when we look at starting over again and starting, looking at our bills, because the bills don't stop, and that's true for everybody right now going through the pandemic. The bills aren't stopping. The rent doesn't stop. You still have to buy groceries. We can't rely on the government. We need to start relying on ourselves. So how do you start, rebuilding, and what are those, emergency funds that we absolutely have to set aside today?
Yeah. So they always say, I've heard you could put your money in 3 buckets, what you absolutely must pay every month, which is, rent or mortgage, electric, heat, water, things that are absolute necessities, car insurance, maybe you have children in school, but then you want to look at your soft expenses, like, and also you have your cell phone. You must have a cell phone. And internet connection. Cable TV, a lot of people are looking at that, and they're looking at where can I save money. And you want to really look at it from the point of view of not that you're doing without, but that you're saving money for yourself to put it in another bucket, in your short-term savings or long-term savings. But this is money that you still have the money, you're just choosing to put it in another category. So it's all about how you think about this. How do you view this? Do you view it as, oh my God, I'm poor now and I can't live the life that I thought I would live and envision and enjoy and just do whatever I want? And, nobody really lives that way unless they are, someone who, Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos, or, I'm talking multi-millionaires who really, even they are accountable. But you always want to know where is your money, and you get to decide where it goes, in what category. So what I did, since I'll speak for myself, what I did, I looked at everything that I had, and I realized that there were a lot of things that were unnecessary. So, the house for one, and with the house, and then I started to, I rented a house because I didn't want to buy one at the time. I was looking to see where the market was going to go. And I have continued to rent. So I rent a lovely apartment near the Hudson River in Westchester in a cute little village. And it's really discovering what is important to you, and that should guide your decisions. And what was important to me was to have proximity to Manhattan and to be close to water and to not have a house on me that it's all on me to take care of this big house. Who's in this house? Me, just me. So, and with the house comes, repairs and maintenance and taxes and what have you. So when I sold the house, I got rid of, all of the I had 2 acres of property and beautiful gardens that you could have put on the cover of House and Gardens magazine and won awards. So I released my lovely house, and with that went all of the overhead attached to that, and did other things with the money, like pay down debt and start a whole new life and create a whole new financial plan for myself. This took releasing what I had and trusting. I know after going through something as devastating as someone duping you and you lose trust in yourself for you to take care of you. So you want to look at that as an incident. It happened, an event in your life, and now you are fully awake. After, that's like a 1-2 punch. Now you are awake, and you have decided that this day going forward, you are putting yourself first. You are your number one priority to take care of yourself. And you recommit to that and reaffirm to yourself that you will not let yourself down in that way, now that your eyes are wide open. But you still have to be there for yourself and love yourself and understand that because of your trusting heart, this is the way it went for you. But that's not the end of your journey. That's just the beginning of a new chapter in your life.
Well, and I, like you, found over time that things didn't matter to me. My saying that my last suit has no pockets, I'm not taking any of the money with me. Now, obviously, it would be nice to have a little bit more of that back in the bank, but I think our experiences are priceless. And this is a time for us to, get over the fear of what people might think of what happened, because I think it's the girls keep saying, what you think of me is really none of my business, which is true. You need to forgive yourself and say, it happened. I obviously was a good person, because if not, then I wouldn't have been taken so much. But good people need to realize that life happens, and now it's, pull up your bootstraps. I tell my daughter, I said, put on your big girl panties and move on. And it's penny by penny or dollar by dollar. And it's learning that the big word that you talked about was trust. Getting trust back after being taken like this is very, very difficult unless you have a support system around you. That, for me, it was my parents, and they're on the show right now. I thank them. Or it's children, it's maybe a friend, but the people you think you trusted before may not be the ones that are the best for you. And I liked how you said that you got some coaches. Now, getting a coach is obviously going to take some money, but to start to find somebody that you can really trust and be a buddy to, a financial buddy that will say, hey, you're on the right track, or nope, you don't really need that, That's something we need to really talk about as women, particularly, because I know in the past, the old, I used to be a bank manager, and I would have the women coming in, the older ladies would come in, and let's say the husband passed away. They'd have no idea how to, back in the day, write a check. And that's why I asked who did the finances in your house, because a lot of times it was the men that were doing it, and then when one of them divorced or died, the other didn't know what to do. And then I had men on the other side whose wives did it all, and the wives died, and the men came in, and they'd sit at my desk for hours because they didn't want to go home by themselves, but they didn't know what to do. And so it's incumbent upon us as women in our 50s, 60s, 40s, whatever, to understand how we can move forward and how we can do the savings. I mean, I'm happily married now. He makes the majority of the money, but I'm the one that's sitting here going, okay, what do we need to set aside so that in 10 years or 20 years, you don't have to be working 40 hours, 80 hours, whatever you're working, because we are not spending on A, B, C, and D. So,
yeah, correct. Yeah. And even though, you might think, well, how come this happened to her? She's an accountant.
Yeah.
She was heading up a business and being a CFO in another company, and how the heck did this happen to her? I'm a human being, and I'm a woman, and I'm thinking, well, this will all turn out. I am no different from all of you. It's just that I decided to have it go a different way, and being that I have the skill set, the knowledge, and the discipline that I teach to other business owners, I realized, wow, I got to stand in front of the mirror and talk to that woman there and make some serious changes. And that's exactly what I did. I also did get a business coach, and I did indeed get a financial planner. So I created my team, my support system. So important to have that. And to have the your own inner knowing that you will always be there for you. You show up for you. Yes, this happened to you. Okay, it's done. It's past. Now what? Today, what are you going to do? What do you desire? And one of the things that I have created is, masterminds and women's groups where, yes, business coaching can be pricey when it's private, one-on-one. However, I have learned through the years to create group programs where there is support and there is a community and there is, learning and things to be had and created for each person as an individual. So especially during these times, I have created some programs where women can come in and see, after talking with me, what's next for them? What's the appropriate next step? What will feel good for you?
Well, that's a really good segue into how can people get a hold of you?
Okay. Well, you can get a hold of me by having your personal connection call where I will give you information and tips that are personal to you, and if appropriate, invite you into one of these groups. And to do that, all you have to do is email me. And my email address is my name, Susan DeRobertis, the number 28, @gmail.com. And in the subject, put your phone number. And I will call you, and I'll also have your email, but I will call you, and we'll set up a call, and we'll go from there. Simple, easy peasy.
Perfect. So it's Susan DeRobertis 28 @gmail.com, and the subject line, put your phone number for a complimentary call. Susan, just the basics. I know there are some people that are going to be on the call that have not done anything with their finances. Can you explain the difference between a financial planner and a business coach?
Oh, sure. A financial planner is someone who will gather all of your financial information, and so that they know what your assets are, and they will come up with a plan, be it with insurance vehicles for protection, or they will invest money for you, given your financial plan with your risk tolerance and your date of a proposed quote-unquote retirement. So let's say you're 40 and you want to be, not working at 65 or 55. Then, depending on your risk tolerance in the markets, they will figure out a strategy for you where you could do that. So that's what they do. And they are licensed to do so. And they are also able to set up insurance policies, which are also investment tools, which can shore up your retirement planning. A business coach, on the other hand, like myself, I don't take your money and invest it for you. I'm not licensed to do that. As a business coach, I look at you and your business, how you do life, how you live your life, and how you do your business, how you carry on in your business, are virtually the same. You know, how you do one thing is how you do all things. So I look at your way of thinking, your values, the results that you have been producing, the challenges that you have, and what is it that you'd like to see in your business and your life by, let's say, the end of 2020 and or by 2021? What would you like to have turned around, or what would you like to have created so that it's not just in your head, it's actually a reality? And it could be, you know, having a new house, or it could be scaling up your business and hiring more employees. It's really on a individual basis because I can, having been a CFO, I've helped business owners scale up their business, start up a new business, and I've also helped with exit strategies where a business looks really lousy on paper, and since banks and potential buyers will look at you on paper, I am skilled at, of course, not falsifying documents, but by showing you how to correct your policies and procedures and rewriting your policies and procedures and retraining your staff if necessary. I have done all of that so that it really trickles down to your bottom line. And I helped one family retire and sell their family-owned business, which was into the third generation and wasn't going to go any further, and they wanted out. So they're now in Florida, retired. So I hope that clarifies it. I really partner with you so that you are as successful as you envision yourself, and then I always see you as bigger than you see yourself. You know, as your coach, I get to know you personally. I see what you're capable of, and I will be there when you're jumping all those hurdles that are really made up in your head as to what you think you're capable of.
So it all comes down to team, and there's no I in team.
No, that's right.
Because in the past, you know, I had an accountant. Actually, when before Lou died, he was doing everything himself. And then when he died, you know, I got thrown into running the company and not knowing he had everything on an Excel spreadsheet. He didn't have the numbers anywhere else, and a lot of them were in his mind. And at that point, I got my accountant, who came in and put everything on QuickBooks and just cleaned it up for me. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I've got an accountant. I'm good. You know, he's taking care of me. But an accountant, and you're an accountant is not a financial planner. It is not a business coach.
No.
What's the role of the accountant in all this?
Yes. Well, your accountant will do your taxes, and some of them will put you on QuickBooks. Some of them won't. It depends. So some of them are certified public accountants, and that is really what they do is they do your taxes. Your accountant is not your business coach nor your financial advisor. They do your taxes. That is what they are trained to do. If you want them to give you financial guidance, if your company is big enough, they will do so, and they will be on retainer. However, the average entrepreneur and business owner has their accountant. They meet twice a year maybe, and they do their taxes. And it's up to you to present that package to your accountant so that they can file your taxes timely for you. A business coach, on the other hand, is working with you ongoingly, and they are, when I'm working with you, I know your financials, and being an accountant, I can read your financials, and I will tell you and show you what's not looking so great and what could need room for improvement. Or based on what your goals are, I will help you have more clients, steady cash flow. That's really where I excel. It's really having my clients have consistent cash flow so that they don't worry month to month as to, how do I pay the bills? How am I going to make this work? Right. Your accountant doesn't do that, nor does your financial planner. But someone like myself, that is, that's my wheelhouse. And I will show you what you need to be doing. And I'll also show you and teach you how you need to be thinking about this so that the money can come to you and not be blocked by your own way of thinking.
Well, I loved how you said that you manifest money, and I've done that in the past, but I've also manifested into somebody else's pocketbook. So it really is quite interesting, and it's all mindset. It's all in how we look at things. Yeah. And I like how you say it's a spending plan rather than a budget, because sometimes we need to curb our spending so that it fits into our plan. And you won't know you won't know that you have to do that until you actually see the numbers and see how expensive groceries have gotten or how expensive your telephones have gotten. And then, start, because how many times do we think about our grocery bill while we're in the grocery store?
Oh, yeah, right.
Especially if you're hungry.
Well, right. At the end of the month, maybe you'll look at it. Maybe, but most likely no. What will get your attention is that you don't have the money that you thought you would have, and then it's really time to sit down with someone and look at it, and have someone partner with you where it's okay to look at it. It is yours, and to and to trust yourself that you're going to take care of yourself, and you're now maybe you're going to decide to work with someone to help you get to where you'd really like to be, which is in a no stress zone.
Oh, wouldn't that be lovely for all of us? So, Susan, I love having conversations with you. I am going to open it up to questions and answers, or questions from our audience if they'd like to come in. This is always a challenge for me, and I don't know why. Hang on a second. We have wonderful people listening to the show. If you'd like to ask a question, I believe you hit *6, and then it may prompt you to do a 1. That'll put you in queue here. And come on in and ask Susan any question. I'm putting it out there. Any question that you would like, just come on into the queue and ask. She's got some great ideas, guys, about where we go from here and how we take stock of our present, so our present condition, our present status, so that we can move forward in a very positive way. And we all need, I hate the word help, because, we hear that too many times. Help is not a positive word. We need coaching. We need a team to help us move forward in the things that we're doing. And I really appreciate you, Susan, for being here and giving us that information. I don't know. Okay, is Peggy there? I was going to have Peggy come in. Dr. Jack is on the phone. Dad, I want you to do me a favor. Hit *6. And 1. I want to see if you can come on in. See, I can pick on my parents. If not, I'm going to open it up to everybody. Oh, Charlotte came in. Let's see if this works. Hey, my dear, are you there? Charlotte. Hello?
Hello, this is Charla. How are you?
It works.
Hey.
Yeah, I had it on mute, so it takes a second there. I just, it's so funny. There's a meme that just popped up on, Facebook has, certainly they just pop up here and there. It says, faith check. God never gives you a dream that matches your budget. He's not checking your bank account. He's checking your faith. And so I was like, I like that you incorporate the mindset that, I believe that most of us, at least in this environment where we've met with the WPN and all that, most of us believe that there is no lack. There's a huge amount of abundance out there. Mm-hmm. And when we have the faith to just, read the Science of Getting Rich and ask, believe, receive, I believe, there is no lack. And every single one of us has been provided for up to this point. Even if you're living in a gutter and you can take a deep breath, you're provided for, right? So somehow we're still alive on this side of the dirt, breathing free oxygen. So I don't know, it's not really a question. It's just a philosophy that even with all of that, because that's, truly faith, it's just, I believe that's the world's, the universe's way, or God's way now, to provide, keep providing for us. And your structured way, something to give us some management around it, I believe, is where your expertise comes in. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. There is structure, and I believe that having structure is not restrictive. It isn't bad. It actually allows for us to have more freedom because we're just not flying blind. We know with certainty that this is so. And then we can just have it, then just let it go. Just not wonder about it or fester on it. And then your mind is got that open space that was taken up by all that worry and all that thought attached to that. Now it's free to think about other things. You have space in there in your mind, and other things will come to you. You will be, let's just say, if you're creative, and if you're worrying about money and expenses and all of that, you find it very challenging to be creative when you're in that space, and
the stress over money, one of the highest stressors.
Right. So reading a book is helpful, and it's most important to be in a community of like-minded people who are all looking to rise. They're all looking to take their life to the next level, whatever that is for each individual, and they are working with someone who has done that and is able to mentor and teach, coach, and guide them to each of their desired outcomes.
So, and I truly acknowledge that's you're talking mostly in a lot of ways just about accountability and partnership and teamwork, which it's already been mentioned. So I just like to I just wanted to just point that out a little bit, that there is no lack, there is enough out there for everyone, and there's we're not in competition, we're in cooperative mindset now. And this is something that's been in my mind for many, 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 many years. I read it, I think, in Ann Landers or something back when I was probably in my 20s or 30s. And it was the lady, this girl's aunt had made every single solitary plan for her end of life. She had planned everything. She had everything in order. She had it all just in a package that, and then it's just she was able to give it to her relatives and say, this is what I choose. Everything's in order. It's all paid for. And then she was free, like you talked about, to just go live her life until the time came that it was needed. And I just thought it was, I just think it's such a beautiful gift that you give to your family when you do that.
Well, that is so true, Charlie, and that's true about everything. Getting ready for the end of life. You know, if you talk about it now when you're happy and healthy, you can just put it behind you and not worry about it at all. But I think it goes back to being afraid to talk about it because it might happen. Well, here you go, folks. It is going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And make it easy on yourself and on your family and deal with it right now and get it done and then put it behind you. So,
that has been my goal for all those years. It hasn't happened yet, but hey, I'm still here, ready, working towards
well, that's where Linda Fostex and Get Off the Worry Go Round comes in. You know, Linda's icebox and just getting it all out there and getting yourselves prepared. And do it one step at a time. You can't eat that whole elephant, you know, in one bite. So, Charla, thank you so much for being with us. I'm flying to Dallas Wednesday. I'm looking forward to meeting you next week. And,
yeah. Do not forget to, remind me.
I've got you on my phone as I'm flying. I'm going to be texting you, so I'm looking forward to being out in Texas. So thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate you.
Fantastic. Great call. Blessings.
Thanks, dear.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you.
All righty. So we also now have Peggy Lee Hansen. Peggy, are you there? Let's see if she can hear me. Peggy? Peggy?
I am here.
Hey, dear, welcome.
Hi, Sue. How are you?
I'm great. Oh, so wonderful that you joined us on this call.
I try to get on most weeks with Debbie on her Thursday mornings. And then I couldn't miss this morning. So
well, we certainly appreciate you being here, Peg.
Yeah. So, the financials, and that's kind of where I'm into now, and I am at the point where, and Susan knows this too, that, I'm ready to choose a bank to tie my business account to. And and the finances are really at the forefront, and, dividing up into the different accounts and, so that you have your taxes covered, you have your play money covered, and all different sorts of things. So what do you recommend for setting up those types of accounts? Do you have them at different banks? Do you have one bank and just set up like a savings account?
So it depends on what these accounts are for. If it's and also, how much access do you want and need? So, for example, you might pick a major bank, which is in every city, so that if you travel, if you do travel a lot and you need access to the bank to actually go to the ATM or just for your own comfort level. It depends on how you do your banking. A lot of people do it online. But you want to look at how are you going to use this bank, and if you don't need a large national bank, do you just need a local bank where you live, where you have a relationship with your local banker? And if you have a business, do you envision having a line of credit at some point? So it depends on what your overall plan is. What is your intention? If it's just to set up a checking and savings, then, of course, every bank will accommodate you as far as that goes. Do you want them linked so you can transfer money back and forth? Are there fees attached to that? These are all things that you want to check into. And if you don't want your savings attached to your checking because you know your personal habits that you'll just keep transferring from your savings into your checking, then perhaps it needs to be in a separate bank. So so you need to look at and ask yourself, these questions before you choose, and see what's going to fit in with your intention.
Those are really good suggestions. I'm thinking about, I've got a company, my company accounts are in a big bank, and then I've got some personal stuff, and my nonprofit is in a smaller bank where you do have the relationship, because I find with the big banks, as a former banker, I don't like going into banks, and you can't really do it right now anyway. I don't like dealing with big banks. I don't like their fees, etc. But having the access to it when I travel is very important. So that's really good information. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Susan.
Sure. I think having a personal relationship with a bank is important, and the local banks want your business, as opposed to a national brand. Of course, they want your business too, but if you are a small business owner, you want to be in a bank that values you,
And they'll watch out for you too, as far as a victim of fraud. If I was too smart. I was too smart for my own good because I was a former banker. But most people, if your local banker who becomes your friend, if they know what your history is and what your spending normally is, and they see something unusual, they will bring it to your attention much faster than a large bank who sees you as a number. So that's important. It's important.
And also, if Peggy, if you're in a networking group, business networking group, there probably is a banker in the group. Now, networking is all online; it's all Zoom. But you want to interview them and see, are they a fit for you? Yeah,
another good point. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Miss Peggy. It's always great to have you here.
Great to be here.
Have fun with the grandkids.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
You too.
All right. Take care, honey. We have one more caller, and I did get my dad to come on in. Let's see if Mom and Dad are there. Dr. Jack, you on?
Yeah, I pushed the wrong button, and it threw me off.
You disconnected. Well, welcome, Dr. Jack.
Yeah, thank you. Enjoyed your guest. That was very nice.
And as a 90-year-old dad, and you've been through a lot, what would be your take on finances, Pop, and talking about them or not, or how have you gotten to where you are, really briefly?
Well, I was thinking to myself that you might ask a question like that. So what I said was, I'm 91 years old. I used to be a practicing doctor. I used to have a couple of houses. I had a couple of cars. I'd gone to a couple of country clubs. And now I don't have any insurance, no retirement, no nothing. I'm working my fingers to the bone. And what did I do wrong?
He works for me, everybody, and I'm a slave driver as a boss.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about that.
He's got the best job because he's got me as his boss.
That is true.
Great.
But it's true, Dad. I mean, if you go back, Dad, you retired at what, 55?
55, 56.
55, 56. Not ever thinking you would live to 91, given family history, right? So this is a case in point of preparing for the future, because we're all living a whole lot longer than our grandparents did.
Oh, yes, without a doubt. Especially women. Yeah.
Especially women. Mom's in the background laughing. Mom's 85. So as we take care of ourselves physically and mentally much better than they did years ago, we've got to prepare financially so that we can be around, have money in our bank account to match our longevity life-wise. So, Pop, I'm really glad you and Mom are here. I love being with you. And I love having you work for me. So there's a purpose in working at 90, everybody. We all think we're going to retire at 65 or 70, But Dad is the greatest asset to my business because of his experience and his fun and his time that he can spend talking with my customers.
Yeah. And
I found out, though, that unemployment will pay me more money by $100 than I'm
Stop
getting now. I may change my mind about my next profession.
All right. I'm retiring you from this phone call, Pop. Have a great day, and I'll see y'all later.
Thank you.
Okay, he's down.
I'm wanting to say that if you're doing what you love, it's never work. It's simply an extension of who you are, and so that really is the object of the game, to be in that lane where you're doing what you love and you're getting paid for it.
Absolutely. And it's fun. And for me, being able to work with my mother and father every day, they live 10 minutes away, has been a blessing. And that came about after the scam and after my husband died. So after all bad, and I'm doing the air quotes, comes some really wonderful good. So, Susan, thank you so much. I can't believe the hour is already over. I really appreciate the information you gave to us, and I encourage people to contact you by sending you an email at susanderobertis28@gmail.com. Have that complimentary call with Susan, and really take into consideration that it takes a team to get to where you want to be in the future. So thank you, my dear. I appreciate you being with us. I want to thank everybody for being here and for listening to Stand Up and Speak Up. We are dedicated to encouraging you to remove the mask of embarrassment and to being your best self. If any of you know someone or you yourself have been a victim to fraud or scam, report it to anyscam.com or the FBI at ic3.gov. Remember to join my Facebook group, Stand Up and Speak Up, for special information and replays. And go to my website, thewomanbehindthesmile.com. Got some great information, and there are always the replays of this broadcast. Please be sure to join us each Thursday at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time for another edition of Stand Up and Speak Up. This episode has been sponsored by BenfoComplete.com, a vitamin supplement company that supports happy and healthy hands and feet for those with neuropathy. Again, thanks everybody for being here today. Go out there, be safe, be healthy, and have a great week. Thanks, Susan.
My pleasure. Thank you, everyone. Have a prosperous day.
Thank you, dear.